3 fires in 3 weeks.
Maybe accidentally, maybe on purpose. That's what the police are kind of looking into right now.
The dangers squatters pose during the cold winter months. Dilkins reviews the draft budget.
Everything is open for review. I've said that every year, and this year is no different.
Could the city hold the line on property taxes? And YQG's uptick in travel.
We're looking to be as a banner year for our aircraft movements in 2025.
The top destination hotspots for local travelers.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV News Windsor and AM 800. 3 fires in just 3 weeks have Windsor fire officials urging residents to stay alert, especially those living near vacant homes. A recent spike in fires tied to empty properties has crews on heightened watch. As CTV's Bob Belichico reports, one simple phone call could help prevent dangerous fires and save millions of dollars in damage.
Maybe accidentally, maybe on purpose. That's what the police are kind of looking into right now.
Monday's fire on Mercer was the 3rd vacant home call for Windsor Fire in the last 3 weeks. Windsor Fire can't confirm if there were squatters, but suggests there may have been some sort of human intervention.
There was no electricity, no natural gas supplied. Therefore, we kind of eliminate those as ignition sources.
There was a type of mattress in the house, but no one can confirm if it was being used in the time leading up to the blaze. A vacant and boarded up house on Aylmer Street with no gas or electricity service caught fire in late November. A Windsor fire investigator at the time said the home was being used by, quote, unauthorized personnel. No one was hurt.
Some board at some area was taken off the windows or the door and gained access.
No origin of fire has been discovered. Now, recent fires sparked a memory for Graham Thompson, who lost a property with a vacant unit 3 years ago.
We used to manage a property where we had repeat squatters. Police weren't able to address the issue, and it ended up in a fire, and we actually had a tenant that passed in the property.
The city of Windsor says 152 properties were billed for the vacant home tax this year. Squatters or not, Windsor Fire is asking residents to be vigilant in neighborhoods with vacant homes that may be boarded up or not occupied, like this South Windsor home that caught fire last week.
If they see any suspicious activity or somebody going in out of a boarded up area or even a door that they know the place is vacant, can they call police? That'd be the best thing to do. Call police or 311 and report it.
Realtor Reese Trenhill and his partners are developing a building in downtown Windsor costing millions and is happy someone called police.
We're going to have 20 people living in that place. That's 20 more places that we desperately need in Windsor for housing. And the only reason we're still going to get that is because somebody called into the cops. And whoever that was, thank you. Did a huge favor for me, did a huge favor to the community.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
A Leamington man has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his own mother. We want to warn our viewers, the content of this story is disturbing. Just back from court is CTV's Michelle Molesky with the details tonight. Michelle.
Stefanie, 61-year-old Kevin Goodings of Leamington pleaded guilty this afternoon to killing his mother just this past winter. The body of 83-year-old Anita Goodings was discovered on the back deck of her Leamington apartment on March 12th. Today, her son, 61-year-old Kevin Goodings, pleaded guilty to killing her. Court learned Goodings stomped his mother's head nearly 10 times, repeatedly kicked her in the torso, and covered her face twice with a pillow. After his prolonged attack, Kevin Goodings covered his mother's lifeless body with 2 blankets and left Leamington. He tried to take a taxi to Toronto, but wound up being arrested at the downtown Mission 3 days later, where he was staying using an alias. Justice Maria Caracia watched the entire attack today in court as it was caught on security camera footage. Defense lawyer Dan Scott did not provide any motive for this attack, but did tell the judge his client wanted to handle the charges, quote, responsibly and admit his guilt at the earliest opportunity. Justice Caracia learned in the fall of 2024 Goodings moved into that apartment with his mother. No other details were shared with the court about why Anita was killed. The defense and Crown say they have come to an agreement on sentencing, but they did not share it with the court today. Stefanie, Kevin Goodings will now face a sentencing hearing in early January.
Okay, Michelle Molesky tonight. Thank you for this. In other news, Windsor police have arrested a 38-year-old man following an online child luring investigation. Jeffrey Scott Logan faces multiple charges after police allege he engaged in sexual explicit conversations with a child on social media expressing sexual interest. Officers executed a search warrant at a Bernard Drive home on December 17th. Police are reminding parents to always monitor children and their online activity. A 40-year-old man has been arrested following a 3-hour standoff on Byng Road on Wednesday. Police were called for an assault around 1 p.m. The complainant telling officers they were assaulted and threatened, and the suspect threw the victim's dogs across the room, threatening to kill them as well. The victim did not sustain any life-threatening injuries. The suspect did surrender and now is facing charges of assault and uttering threats. A roaming pony sparked an early morning call for Chatham-Kent animal control officers. A young horse was spotted trotting loose within city limits just after 5 a.m. With help from a local horse enthusiast, the pony, later nicknamed Peanut, was safely impounded. After going unclaimed, Peanut was adopted into a suitable new home. Animal control reminds residents that horses and ponies are only permitted on agriculturally zoned properties. The mayor is offering a first look tonight at what could be a 0% tax increase for Windsorites in 2026. Mayor Drew Dilkens says next year's draft budget holds the line on property taxes while still making record-level investments in roads, sewers, and other infrastructure. CTV Sanjay Maru joins us now. Sanjay, what did you learn?
Yes, Stephanie. Today, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens offering what he calls a high-level preview and not the full budget documents. The mayor, again, committing to a 0% tax increase for 2026, something he calls the right thing to do. But City Council has not yet seen the document, so questions remain about where savings come from and what services could be cut.
Everything is open for review. I've said that every year, and this year is no different.
Mayor Drew Dilkens previewing his draft 2026 budget at City Hall Thursday, calling it a response to affordability pressures without putting growth on hold. The budget prepared by city administration proposes a 0% tax levy increase, down from last year's hike of nearly 3%.
I don't think residents are going to see anything outstanding in terms of service level cuts.
The mayor says getting to zero requires hard decisions inside City Hall, including deferring some work and making tough choices about what can wait. The full details of those decisions will not be made public until the budget is formally tabled later this month. The draft also includes the largest capital plan in the city's history, with more than $317 million contemplated for 2026 alone. Infrastructure remains top of mind for councillors, particularly roads that residents use every day.
I have been advocating for one particular road, which is Central Avenue. And I understand we have a lot of other roads similar or even worse than Central Avenue.
But councillors say their wish lists go beyond asphalt and include long-standing questions about public spaces and waterfront access. In Ward 7, Angelo Marignani says Sandpoint Beach was a key topic in his discussions with the mayor.
What I want to see is the fulfillment of the master plan, the Sandpoint Beach master plan.
Dilkens confirms the draft budget does include money connected to Sandpoint, and he adds while some departments are asking for more resources, hitting zero will mean making trade-offs.
We found a budget that I think is appropriate for the times, and let other folks, council can bring forward. The folks on council who don't like zero, let them bring forward additions. Let council have the debate. It's a democratic process. Council can decide whether they want to add to the budget.
The mayor plans to officially table the budget on December 29th. From there, the public gets 2 weeks to review it, and then council has 30 days to propose amendments.
Okay, so when exactly will the public be able to weigh in on this?
Yeah, public delegation, Stephanie, they're set for January 12th with final deliberations expected by January 26th.
Okay, Sanjay Maru tonight. Thank you for this, Sanjay.
Thank you.
CTV weather specialist Rita Ismail joins me now. Rita, it was really a beautiful day today, but we know temperatures are going to drop once again.
Absolutely, yeah, we had a great day, and conditions are certainly starting to deteriorate here in Windsor and right across southwestern Ontario. We do have a special weather statement in place. We're going from mild above seasonal temperatures to freezing, and of course the wind chill. It'll have us feeling close to -12. We are tracking this weather maker, and it is started to move in. Widespread rainfall expected in the next 24 hours that will switch over to flurries as those temperatures drop. I'll have the full forecast for you coming up a little later in the show.
And we can expect waves of 5 to 10 feet in Lake Erie tomorrow morning. Meteorologists are warning of another dramatic sewage unfolding early Friday morning, bringing dangerously low water levels and hazardous conditions. Meteorologist Ross Ellett says forecast models closely resemble the events seen in November that uncovered this shipwreck near Kingsville. The skeleton of the ship was exposed by strong winds that caused water levels to drop substantially for a short period of time. But conditions between Amherstburg and Point Pelee will appear mild compared to the area east of Cleveland, where the National Weather Service warns gale force winds could cause waves to reach up to 20 feet tall, creating treacherous conditions for boaters and anyone near the shoreline. The water will then rise steadily throughout the day, about 5.5 feet between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. rather than rushing back suddenly. Officials are reminding the public to stay well back from the waves and to use extreme caution along the lakeshore. In other news, trade is front and center as the Prime Minister meets with Canada's premiers. The goal, defending Canada's against President Trump's aggressive trade policies, cutting red tape and provinces working together. Here's CTV's Abigail Beeman, who's in Ottawa.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ontario and the federal government signed an agreement to cut red tape for major projects, including the Ring of Fire.
Today's agreement is the last step in our plan to get shovels in the ground this June.
America's jobs and growth are at stake.
The two leaders, though, may still not be on the same page about the controversial Ronald Reagan ad that angered the U.S. president. Watch the Prime Minister's face closely and judge for yourself.
Well, number one, that was the best ad that's ever been run, 12.4 billion views. We wanted to bring it to the attention of the American people.
Mark Carney said Canada had been close to a deal on sectoral tariffs before the ad, and now?
My judgment is that that is now going to roll into the broader CUSMA negotiations. So we're unlikely, given the time horizons coming together, to have a sectoral agreement, although if the United States wants to come back on that in those areas, we're always ready there.
Meanwhile, the United States Trade Representative told lawmakers what his country wants to see resolved in order to extend CUSMA, up for review next year. Jamieson Greer released opening comments from a closed-door meeting targeting a list of things including Canada's Online Streaming Act and supply management policies that unfairly restrict market access for U.S. dairy products.
We continue to stand by that. We'll continue to protect supply management.
What was really interesting here is that the United States didn't appear to demand a wholesale renegotiation of supply management writ large or the removal of the system.
Trade experts say Greer's comments are positive for Canada in the sense that many American businesses and labor stakeholders are supportive of CUSMA and want to see it extended, even if they're also calling for changes. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Windsor International Airport is on track for one of its busiest years on record. CTV's Chris Campbell joins us now from the newsroom. And Chris, what exactly is behind the increase in flights to and from Windsor?
Well, Stephanie, 22% more flights are taking off from Windsor than last year, and many of them are cargo flights, but not all. Air Canada will have a third flight to Toronto starting in May. Air Transat is back this week, and flights to sunny destinations have returned as well. Airport officials say it's a sign of real recovery after the pandemic.
Windsor International Airport is on pace for one of its busiest years on record, trending more than 20% higher than last year in total aircraft movements.
So we're seeing incremental growth on a lot of different levels, and it's sort of like a layer cake. Each layer is a little thicker, and that leads to what we're looking to be as a banner year for our aircraft movements in 2025.
New and returning routes, including sun destinations like Cancun and Veradero, and the return of direct flights to Punta Cana this winter are helping fuel that momentum.
Slow growth is better than no growth, and we'll just keep working very hard to deliver those routes for the community and deliver those places where people want to go.
New data suggests Canadians are still traveling, but making fewer trips to the United States.
We're down close to 40% year over year in travel into the U.S.
Why are Canadians avoiding the U.S.? Political and diplomatic tensions, border experiences, and perception of safety, and a weak Canadian dollar. G Adventures, a company that specializes in small group adventure travel, has noticed the trend.
While our bookings in the United States are down, it doesn't mean that Canadians are traveling less. They're simply choosing different destinations.
Instead, travel agents say many Canadians are choosing destinations where their dollar goes further, or opting for direct flights that reduce connections and stress.
I think we're going to see airports getting busier, much busier, more congested, so which lends more time to actually getting to the airport. It's going to be a busier, more confusion.
Even with more flights out of Windsor, local travel agents say preparation is key. At Valente Travel, the advice is simple.
Get to the airport early, make extra time for travel implications as well.
Officials at Windsor Airport say the focus now is keeping that momentum going into 2026. And travel agents say arriving early is not just for those flying out of large urban airports. It can make a difference at smaller airports like Windsor's YQG International as well. Stephanie?
Okay, Chris, thank you for this. So this leads us to our question of the day. Do you travel out of Windsor International Airport? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you are part of a volunteer organization. Out of around 500 votes, 82% say no. Speaking of volunteers, it was a busy day today over at the UHC Hub of Opportunities.
Okay, we're done two. Yep, two.
There's a lot of myths and misconceptions about who utilizes a food bank today. It's your neighbors, it's your friends, it's your coworkers. 1 in 4 are working today, so it is a change. We've got a lot of seniors, a lot of people on fixed incomes. People are relying on food banks. We were a necessity, but today we've become a reality.
Another hamper delivery day today with more than 300 families signing up. A total of 500 chickens or turkeys were handed out, turkeys for the families and chickens for single people. It's sponsored by Plains Midstream, an energy infrastructure company operating on Windsor's West End. UHC has a team of volunteers helping today to make a difference right before Christmas.
People, they're struggling right now, and the fact that we can give people a meal for Christmas makes me feel really good. And I hope people understand and how we should be thankful for what we have. And this is such a great experience. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Santa Talks is back on AM 800. Last night, the big man had an interesting conversation with young Juliana, who wants to prove to Santa that she is not a reindeer.
Are you a reindeer?
No.
Oh. I was checking, because you like carrots. I was just checking to see. Do you grow any antlers?
If you come to my house, you're going to see if I'm not a reindeer.
Now, AM 800 is carrying the Spitfire game tonight, so any kids wanting to talk to Santa has to go to AM 800's YouTube channel. Santa will be live from 7 until 8 o'clock. Now, it's not just Santa. We want to hear from you as well. Do you have a comment or question? Please text us at 10400. He was dancing with Conservatives. Now he's sitting with the Liberals, still ahead on Windsor's news leader. The political fallout after Michael Ma crossed the floor. Canada's population is shrinking. Later, new numbers suggest immigration limits are starting to work. Alleged misconduct in the classroom. Tomorrow, a Windsor teacher faces a disciplinary hearing. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. Ontario police say they have dismantled an organized crime network responsible for hundreds of stolen vehicles that were going to be illegally exported to overseas markets.
We have significantly impacted organized crime's ability to profit from these offenses.
Police say they seized more than 300 vehicles valued at more than $25 million. And now 20 people have been arrested, facing more than 130 charges. The investigation was launched more than 2 years ago. And shoplifters dressed as St. Nick and his elves were captured on camera stealing groceries to donate to people in need.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Police are investigating after the group Robins of the Alleys nicked $3,000 worth of food from a Montreal grocery store on Monday. Roberts left the loot a note under a Christmas tree in the public square. In the note, the group claims the criminal act is a political call to action. They denounced grocery chains that profit off of inflation, leaving people struggling to buy food. We are hearing more today from the newest member of Prime Minister Mark Carney's team. Michael Ma jumped ship last week from the Conservatives to the Liberals. Now tonight, in an exclusive interview, Ma was asked about his controversial decision. As CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports, it comes amid buzz that other Conservatives may be considering a similar move.
When Michael Ma took the dance floor at the Conservative Christmas party and posed for photos with leader Pierre Poilievre, the MP says he still belonged in the party.
I was truly a Conservative member and an MP. I have not made a decision at that point.
He claims the decision to join the Liberals was made the next day.
To our newest member of the Liberal Party.
Hours before appearing at the Liberal Christmas party.
I met with the Prime Minister and reconfirmed my understanding of his vision for Canada, and I believe that's the right approach.
Ma calls Carney's approach pragmatic and centrist.
The Liberals do not believe in productive economy.
But the self-described progressive Conservative is offering few other specifics about why he switched.
Instead of deepening division of the country, I believe that we are better served when we are with the governing party.
But while Ma says constituents he consulted were on board, protests have popped up in his riding, and so has a petition calling for his resignation.
He didn't really say anything in that interview that gives you any kind of sense of purpose. Just he likes Mark Carney, which maybe for him is good enough, but I think his constituents would probably ask for a little bit more.
In the 2025 election, Ma won Markham Unionville with 50.7% of the vote, compared to the Liberals' 47.1%. Now, the Nanos Research seat projection has the race too close to call.
It'll be interesting to see whether that changes in the new year. But right now, either one of those parties could win that riding.
Asked whether he believed any more Conservatives would cross the floor, Ma simply said he doesn't have a crystal ball. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
New figures show Canada's population declined for the first time in history this year, excluding the COVID-19 pandemic period. Here's CTV's Heather Wright with a look at what's behind the drop and the expected impact on the country's economy.
The federal government promised to, quote, get immigration under control, and preliminary numbers from Statistics Canada suggest efforts to curb the number of immigrants are working. Between July 1st and October 1st of this year, Canada's population decreased by about 76,000 people, mainly due to a reduction in the number of non-permanent residents. Stats Canada attributes the decrease to record high outflows, with about 74,000 people with a study permit leaving the country.
We needed to bring our immigration level to a more sustainable level, and at the same time, we've doubled down in budget 2025 to attract the best and brightest in our country.
This decrease follows record rates of population growth between 2022 and 2023, an immigration policy aimed at part in helping companies fill thousands of empty jobs following the COVID-19 pandemic. But the increase also exacerbated existing challenges with housing and health care.
One of the things that it doesn't seem to be any huge consensus on is what our perfect immigration levels should be.
Michael Hahn is a professor and demographer at Western University and says a shrinking population can have positive impacts, such as driving down housing prices. But he warns there can be negative impacts too, especially when the changes happen so quickly.
wide open, wide shut. Those are the ones that hurt the most. Those are the ones that, universities, colleges, builders, they're not prepared for these abrupt changes, because population change, I think optimal population change happens slowly rather than quickly.
More changes to immigration levels are coming, with the federal Liberals vowing to further reduce the number of temporary residents over the next 2 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Opposition MPPs and community advocates are sounding the alarm over the latest step in the Ford government's revamp of Ontario Place. They say work is underway that could see raw sewage diverted into Lake Ontario after similar proposals faced pushback last year.
We wondered what would come next. Would the government revise the sewage plan and come back with a better one based on the feedback it received? Not likely. Instead, we got our answer in Bill 5, legislation that does away with consultation and accountability in the name of speeding up priority projects. And yes, Ontario Place had the honor of being named specifically in Bill 5, with a provision removing the requirement to post environmental notices at all.
The province says a combined sewer overflow pipe that's being installed is independent of the Ontario Place redevelopment, and it's a key relief valve to prevent sewer overloads during storms. Officials say interim work is currently underway aimed at redirecting discharge further away from areas of public use. Canada's main stock index rose today, helped by strength in technology stocks. In Toronto, the TSX gained 191 points. In New York, the Dow added 66. The Nasdaq is up 313. The Canadian dollar gained a modest 0.04 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold lost $9 an ounce and oil added 19 cents a barrel. The flu returns every year, but this year it is spreading faster and hitting harder and putting more people in the hospital.
Thanks to our viewer Lori for sharing this photo of a beautiful sunset in Shedden, Ontario. A mixed bag of weather, starting with rain tonight, changing over to snow for Friday. A low pressure system will move out overnight. Our temperatures will drastically drop and the wind chill will return. We'll have strong winds and chance for flurries in the forecast.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Quite gloomy out there earlier today. Rita joins me again for an extended look at the weather. Rita.
A lot of cloud cover moved in earlier this evening, Stefanie, and our temperatures, a high of 9 degrees today, well above what's normal this time of year, which is the 1 degree mark, but not quite hitting the record. 11 degrees in 1941. The warmth, all thanks to a low pressure system that is approaching southwestern Ontario. And with that, we will be dealing with rainfall that will switch over to flurries. Right now, we're at that high, 9 degrees. Again, cloud cover, the winds out of the south, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. You could see some of the rain pushing through out Windsor, Essex, and then into London. Now, it will become more widespread later tonight between 9 and midnight. The second part of the system will push through. Everybody will get rain, some embedded non-severe thunderstorms as well, and then it will move out. When it moves out, we'll have about 15 millimeters of rainfall within a short period of time, and then in behind that, a cold snap. Our temperatures are going to drop. With that, Environment Canada has issued a special weather statement because, of course, the cold air will freeze all of that rainfall, and in behind that, gusty winds. We could see some lake effect flurries early Friday morning, so certainly a mixed bag of weather the next 12 to 24 hours. Heading into Saturday, conditions improving for Windsor, Essex. This evening, again, 10 to 20 millimeters possible as the system pushes through. 9 degrees and then 6 at midnight, and there's that drop. We go from 6 degrees to -2, feeling like -10. The winds will shift. They'll be gusty, 40 to 60 kilometer per hour winds early tomorrow morning. And of course, we'll feel close to -15 by noon. Again, quite the contrast from what we felt today. A balmy 9 degrees and comfortable conditions. So a big change is in store for us for Friday. The flurry activity just in time for your morning commute. Your 7-day forecast is brought to you by Enercare, experts at home. -4 for Friday, and then warming back up to 3 degrees on Saturday. Looks nice. Saturday and Sunday, we're expecting mainly sunny conditions on Sunday, but slightly colder conditions. -6 first thing Sunday morning, and then struggling to get above the freezing mark. After that, though, we'll have no issues. The mild air returns again, anywhere between 3 to 6 degrees. For Christmas Eve, it looks to be mostly dry, 5 degrees. And then Christmas Day, for those folks who have travel plans, right now it looks to be quite pleasant. Dry conditions, a high of 4 degrees. I know a lot of folks hope to have snow, a white Christmas, but in this forecast, it appears the mild temperatures will likely stop that from happening. Stephanie.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
A fierce flu strain is sweeping the country, and it's the children who are being hit the hardest. At Windsor Regional Hospital, 90 people have tested positive in the past week. 13 have been hospitalized, and Windsor is not alone. As CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports, hospitals are bracing for a surge over the holidays.
The flu hits every year, but the strain of influenza A circulating now is hitting harder and faster than ever.
Well, it causes a severe pneumonia that can cause the lungs to break down. There can be a secondary bacterial infection. There can be widespread infection known as sepsis.
Doctors say severe complications are rare, but nationally, flu-related hospitalizations are increasing, especially in kids 4 or younger and among those over 65. In Ontario alone, new ICU admissions are up 127%, with confirmed flu cases up by 150%. In Nova Scotia, like elsewhere, doctors are preparing for a surge in cases, especially among kids around the holidays.
We tend to underappreciate the need for vaccination, and I certainly know in Nova Scotia, our uptake of vaccine in infants and young children is far from where ideally we'd like to have it.
Whatever protection you can get, it does make a difference.
Jill Promoli knows firsthand how devastating the flu can be. Her son Jude was a healthy 2-year-old when he got influenza B and died.
Even when we lost Jude, it was a shock to us that we had lost him to something like the flu.
She's now spent nearly 10 years encouraging people to take the flu seriously and encouraging them to get vaccinated.
It can be faster than we realize, and it can be more serious than we realize, and sometimes there just is no time to act. So the more steps that you can take to prevent getting the flu into your home in the first place, the better.
Doctors say the influenza outbreaks are starting earlier than usual, and they're encouraging everyone to get vaccinated. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
As food banks face increased pressures to meet unprecedented need, a new report finds that almost a third of Ontarians have no plans to donate this year. Research from Next Door Canada and Angus Reid show that 20% of Canadians say they are currently struggling to afford groceries, while 39% report knowing someone struggling. Nearly 2.2 million Canadians are expected to rely on food banks this month. CTV spoke to Daily Bread CEO Neil Hetherington about the need. He's calling on all levels of government to do more to support housing and food insecurity.
It's absolutely understandable, and that's why demand at the food bank has risen as much as it has. We are seeing now across the country about 1 in 4 Canadians who are food insecure. About 25% of the population of Canada is food insecure.
Hetherington adds that for those who can't afford to donate, they can volunteer their time.
Well, coming up, we're going to talk about the Saints concert.
Yeah, I've been trying to convince Jeff to let me join the band.
Stay tuned.
A dispute over where tens of millions of dollars of where consumer recycling fees should go is one of the reasons Ontario's tire recycling program appears to be spinning out. Here's CTV's John Woodward.
The crew from All-Star Transportation and Tire Recycling is collecting scrap tires from a car dealership in Etobicoke.
We're just here trying to get the last load of the year.
But owner Scott Kavanaugh says he's not filling his truck up much these days.
We're not getting appointments to do much more, so can't afford to keep the truck on the road if we're not emptying the trucks and filling them.
Tires piling up around Ontario because something's gone wrong with the province's tire recycling system.
Tires are piling up on the streets. That's what's happening.
Many of these tires have nowhere to go, in part because one of the bigger processors, E360, closed its Barrie plant and laid off about 110 people, said CEO Danny Ardolini.
2024, we're roughly owed around, I call it $35 million. We continued on for a full year without getting paid. But then we just couldn't do it anymore, so we had to stop.
What's at stake here are the fees that consumers pay to recycle tires, fees that add up to tens of millions of dollars a year.
Consumers pay around $5 a tire to the tire producers who are supposed to use the money to pay to recycle them. But Ardolini says that's not happening. He says the problem has only gotten bigger since tire producers paid a $7.44 million settlement for falling short of targets in 2023.
Just enforce the regulation. It's as simple as that.
Ontario's recycling regulator told CTV News it's not involved in commercial disputes, but has reminded tire producers they are required to continue collecting and recycling or retreading tires from the collection system, whether targets are met or not. Those targets were reduced this year, another factor behind the piles of tires, Kavanaugh says, worried about a worst-case scenario.
They catch on fire. They do a lot of damage to the environment. They're not easy to put out.
Kavanaugh is launching a petition to reform regulation of the tire recycling industry and hoping something changes because he says it's just going to get worse next year. John Woodward, CTV News.
Turning now to our weekly segment, What's Up YQG, with Johnny Parks from our sister station Virgin Radio and our own Melanie Kentner. Today, you two are featuring an upcoming charity concert.
Yeah, the Saints Christmas concert. Johnny, you play the guitar, so maybe you can get on stage too.
Hey, let's leave it to the professionals, I think. We got Saints member Jeff Burrows from the Tea Party. You guys were awesome at Caesars, by the way, but can you tell us about this upcoming event?
This is like about the 15th year we've done this, and we started at the St. Clair Centre for the Arts. We've been at Caesars. Now we're back for 2 nights at St. Clair Centre, and it's going to be amazing.
That sounds great. Now, this has become an annual tradition, so talk about how much has been raised.
I believe we're somewhere in the ballpark of $675,000, and we're hoping to bring in another 6-digit number this year, so fingers crossed, but it's looking really good.
And where is the money going this year that's raised?
So same as last year, we do the UHC Hub of Opportunities, Unemployed Help Center in Windsor, and then we give a portion of that money to Outreach for Hunger in Chatham-Kent.
And who will be on the stage with you?
That's the thing. Johnny can't join us because there's so many people on stage. We have a choir, we have a string section, we have a drum line, we have a horn section, and 10 members of the band. So maybe next year, buddy.
Well, I'll try. Yeah. How can people support the event?
So it's sold out, which is great.
Yeah.
But if you do want to donate, and I know you guys had such an amazing Cans for a Cause fundraiser, which just shows how amazing Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent are, and so on. But you can still just go to the uhc.ca. And you can pledge there if you like, and you just put a note in there that you were supporting the Saints or CTV or just you're supporting your community.
Sounds great. We'll put a link to that on our website. Awesome. Now, there are some other great ways to get into the holiday spirit. Johnny, what else is going on this weekend?
Well, there's more parades, of course. This time in Harrow, the Santa Claus Parade on Saturday.
We have seen a lot of Santa this year, and another family fun holiday tradition with the Windsor Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, Windsor Symphony Orchestra presenting their Holiday Pops show. That's Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, so many festive options. So thanks for kicking it all off, Jeff, with the Saints. And that's What's Up YQG.
And the $80 million Lotto Max jackpot has still not been claimed. No ticket matched the winning number in Tuesday's draw. OLG officials say the rollover will push the total prizing for Friday's draw to a whopping $103 million. The jackpot remains at $80 million, with an estimated 23 Max Million prizes worth $1 million also up for grabs. Though there was no winner of the jackpot, several other prizes were claimed, including a $1 million Max Millions ticket sold in Unionville and a second prize ticket worth more than $396,000 sold in Mississauga.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Sparky's Toy Drive is back. Purchase a new unwrapped toy to donate and drop it off at any local fire hall. Find the holiday spirit with Sparky's. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Kate Otterbein. And Kate, you do have some insight into who is actually asking for and accessing donated foods from the many local food banks we have here.
That's right, Stephanie. June Muir told us today that it's just a busy time with lots of donations coming in, which is a good thing. But Muir says new stats show that 1 in 4 Ontarians who access a food bank have a job, and it's still not enough to make ends meet. That's a need, Muir says, that won't end when 2025 does. So while she's grateful to all of the holiday time donations, Muir is urging people to keep donating year-round to support the food banks.
It's really putting a lot of pressures on food banks. We oversee and we help 15 food banks throughout Windsor and Essex County, but there's a lot of food banks throughout Ontario, that might have to close their doors because it's really hard to keep up during this time.
We've got those details and more online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Sleep in Heavenly Peace Windsor is hitting a very big milestone.
Yes, 1,000 beds donated. Now, as you may know, Sleep in Heavenly Peace Windsor donates beds to kids in need. The big delivery is set for Monday. The organization says it is important for a child to have a safe space. These beds they built for local kids are a place for them to read, sleep, and have their own area. That 1,000th bed is also the 300th to be delivered this year. Read more about the upcoming donation online. And in our social spotlight tonight, check out this little girl giving Celine Dion a run for her money. This is 2-year-old Leona, and I must say that's a big voice for someone who's only 2. She loves to get on her family's coffee table and belt her heart out to My Heart Will Go On. Word of advice for Leona, keep using that voice. I can only imagine what she's going to sound like when she's older. Stephanie?
And it looks like this video has been posted on Instagram, so maybe if her parents continue to do it, she'll be discovered possibly just like Justin Bieber. So good luck with that.
The next Bieber, the next Celine Dion, I see it.
Okay. If people have other video that they want to send you, how can they do it?
Yes, you can send us an email at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
And that's what's happening now. Thank you, Kate.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
When we return, a 3-year-old's letter to Santa sparks a magical surprise and a reminder that Christmas joy is still alive. For a final look at the weather tonight, Rita joins us. Rita.
A big temperature drop is heading our way, Stephanie. We're expecting our high for tomorrow to be -4. Again, quite a contrast from what we felt today here in Windsor. Another look at your Enercare Experts at Home 7-day forecast. So scattered flurries tomorrow and that big freeze early Friday morning. Keep that in mind as you head out the door. That special weather statement is in effect because our temperatures are going to drop. Saturday and Sunday look quite pleasant in terms of sunshine and calmer conditions. And then next week, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions Monday through to Thursday, but milder air mass in play in terms of our daytime highs. Stephanie?
From sleigh bells to handwritten notes from the North Pole, one family is discovering that a little Christmas magic can arrive in the most unexpected places. Here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Although Finn is a fan of all things festive,
Santa just comes on a sleigh with his reindeer.
although the 3-year-old and his baby brother even met the big guy at the mall,
He said, ho, ho, ho.
Finn had never considered sending a letter to Santa until his mom happened upon an unexpected invitation in the neighborhood.
Oh, I just thought it was really sweet.
The boxes were designed and built by Mike and his wife in the hopes of helping who they call the postmaster elves.
They're all very busy, so we thought we should put up a central collection station.
A place to post letters to the North Pole and another to receive personalized replies.
It adds another element to the magic and excitement of Christmas.
So we just put a letter in there, didn't know what to expect.
Well, based on weekly reports about the letters that Mike says they receive from Santa's workshop, this year's gift requests have ranged from cuddly stuffed toys to full-sleeve tattoos.
Not sure how Santa will deal with that, or if Santa might have to consult with Mum and Dad.
Mike says it's also heartening to hear that the children's letters include not just their wants, but their wishes for the well-being of others, which this volunteer can relate to.
Right now I'm involved with the Cancer Drive Line.
Mike has spent more than a decade traveling more than 7,000 kilometers a year to drive cancer patients to and from their appointments.
Just being a part of the community is to do things for the community.
Oh, there we go.
2 days after dropping off the letter, Finn and Jenna picked up their handwritten reply, which ended with praise for the boy being so positive and includes a bell that says believe.
It was really cute. He loves it. As you can see from the letter, we've read it about 50 times.
While Jenna is filled with gratitude and Mike with delight,
It's just a joy to be able to be a part of providing joy.
Finn is feeling so festive,
I'm really happy.
so happy, he just might spend the rest of the holiday season
Laughing all the way.
Adam Sawatsky,
Ha ha ha.
CTV News,
Merry Christmas.
Colwood.
Merry Christmas indeed. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching. Go to ctvnewswindsor.ca for updates throughout the evening. Travis Fortnum will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.